How many steps are there to robbing a bank? Open the door, carry the money, throw it in a car. That's right, it's as simple as that. A man is a cash driver. It's perfect for robbing a bank. While the man was immersed in moving money, a coworker forgot to clock out of the office. He accidentally kicked over the box, aroused the alarm of the coworker.
I'm gonna tell Chad on your ass. I caught you red-handed.
The man nervously gripped his gun, but his coworker just disliked his error rolls. The coworker complained that he had promised not to work overtime, then turned around and left. Relieved, the man went back to his work. 2 hours later, the man looted all the money. Now there's just one last thing to do. He took all the tapes from the surveillance room, but he forgot the one at the top. Seconds later, the car breaks out, looking at the back seat with all the money, and the look on his partner's face. The man's pride goes without saying. He asked the woman to help him stuff his pants with money. With fake IDs and clothes, the man is transformed, and he shows up at the airport as a beautiful woman, then boards the plane. He didn't know that the police had targeted him. This man was desperate to lose weight, so he tried acupuncture. He ended up looking like a hedgehog, but it didn't work. Then, he concocted a special potion. After drinking it, he began to feel pain all over and collapsed on the ground. However, his body started to shrink. My goodness, he actually slimmed down and looked quite handsome. He could even look down and see his own feet. Excited, he ran to the supermarket to try on various tight-fitting clothes, the kind he had always liked. He could finally shop to his heart's content. He even dared to chat up the girl he liked. He placed his hand on her shoulder, but suddenly his fingers began to enlarge, scaring him into quickly ending the date. It turned out the potion had a side effect. It only lasted for half an hour. That night, the man drank the potion again and went on the date. Just after they kissed, the potion's effect started to wear off. The woman noticed his mouth was getting larger. He lied that he was allergic to lipstick. Soon, he began to gain weight rapidly. His clothes became tight, and even a button popped off. Flying into the soup of a neighboring diner, he hurriedly fled the scene.
Hey fella, what are you doing with the professor's credit card? Where'd you get it?
This man kept getting fatter, his body continuously expanding. The doctors, terrified, ran out of the ward, but one of them didn't react in time and got squished against the glass, which soon cracked. The man grew into a 300 kilograms giant, as tall as a building, and each step he took made the ground tremble. At that moment, the man spotted a beautiful woman inside a high-rise building. He licked his lips and stretched his finger towards the window, causing the woman to fall onto the couch screaming in fright. Unexpectedly, the man was only interested in the roast chicken next to her. He restrained himself and plucked a chicken leg, popping it into his mouth. Before he could even taste it, his stomach felt uneasy and he let out a fart. This fart, like a tornado, swept through the streets, blowing people away. An old lady had to cling tightly to a pole to avoid being blown away. Meanwhile, a homeless man by the roadside was just about to light a cigarette to calm himself when the fart reacted with the fire, turning into a bomb. A mushroom cloud appeared over the city, and the man woke up from his sleep, relieved it was only a dream. The invisible man just robbed a bank. He borrowed a bicycle on the way. The invisible man changes colors like a chameleon. The police couldn't do anything about it. Soon the invisible man escapes to a railroad car. He sits down and opens his bag to check his money. As the countdown ends, a smoke bomb explodes. A lot of red smoke comes out of the windows. The invisible man took advantage of the chaos to run out of the car, but the red dust on his body. The police were able to catch him easily. Soon he was tackled to the ground by the police, but police's gun fell to the ground. The invisible man picked up the gun and fired in anger. When the bullet was close to the policeman, it stopped. A hardened scale appeared on the policeman's face. The bullet cracked, but the force was so strong that he fainted. The blood in his eyes turns black. The countdown on the cop's watch is about to end. His powers are about to expire. In the next second, the cop's eyes regained their clarity. He turned around, threw the invisible man down, and threw a punch. The floor broke through. That's when the countdown ends. This poor kid died, but his grandpa, holding him tight, went to a street artist for help. The artist whipped out a knife, and suddenly, everyone in his paintings looked terrified. He randomly picked one painting, slashed the thigh of the woman in it, and blood started pouring out, collecting in a bowl. The woman in the painting's face twisted in pain, and she started screaming. The crowd watching got a real stare as the blood just kept flowing. The artist handed the blood to the old man. Unbelievably, after the kid drank it, he sprang back to life and even his face wounds healed up. Turns out, the artist was a demon catcher, and he had trapped demons in those paintings. He gave the painting to the grandpa and told him to sit from it daily. Once the demons in there died off, the boy's illness would vanish. The grandpa was thrilled and thanked him. Meanwhile, a guy nearby felt something was off and tried to bolt, but got knocked into a donkey's stall. The donkey, freaked out, kicked him right in the forehead. As the man dodged around, the spooked donkey smashed out, knocking down the building and causing chaos on the street. Just as the man got out of the debris, he got slammed by the donkey again, landing in yet another fix. This Taoist priest made a gesture. Two arms appeared, Then he waved his forearms together. Dark clouds and lightning appeared in the hall. The Taoist priest took out his flute and played. It started to rain inside the house, and then held out his hand to catch the rain, and licked his hand. The rainwater was actually sweet. Next, the Taoist priest collected the rainwater. The assistant also took out a precious pearl, and gave it to the emperor as a gift. At that moment, the dark clouds and lightning appeared again. The Taoist master realized that this dark cloud wasn't his own mechanism. The golden dragon statue next to the main hall began to come back to life, and turned its head and breathed fire at the Taoist master's assistant. It burned the man alive. Another Taoist priest was about to run away. He was swallowed by the dragon. Now everyone began to feel afraid, but the golden dragon flew up to the roof. It crashed through the ceiling and left. The only thing left on the ground were the two fake arms of the Taoist master. The leader immediately went out to try to catch the demon. He jumped over the wall, but realized that the killer looked exactly like himself. During lunchtime, all the students in the classroom whipped out their tasty packed meals, except for one boy who didn't bring any. Luckily, a kind classmate offered him some of her cake. Just as he was about to take a bite, the teacher intervened and, embarrassingly enough, ended up eating the cake herself. The boy, flustered, retreated to the restroom to chug some tap water. Hungry again soon after, he managed to get some water from a friend. This boy always looked a bit scruffy and never had a lunchbox, sporting a new bruise on his face almost daily. Yet, everyone liked him because he always had the coolest stories to share after class. His friend would often invite him to play soccer after school, knowing that his family always prepared a big dinner, ensuring boy got at least one good meal a day. That day, the teacher wanted to eat the student's meal again. Seeing the empty lunchbox on the table, he started to mock the boy. After being humiliated in front of everyone for his empty lunchbox, the boy declined any food offers the next day, insisting he'd eat at home. Despite his claim, he was still hungry every afternoon. Concerned, his deskmate decided to follow him.
The girl cried on this huge bird's egg. Her tears were instantly absorbed by the shell. Suddenly, the shell cracked. A black claw came out. The girl hid in the closet in fear and looked out through the door. The eggshell was all cracked open. It was a giant bird that looked like a man. The girl dared not look any further, but suddenly there was no movement outside. She opened her eyes and found only the eggshell on the bed. When her father opened the door after hearing the noise, the monster had already escaped through the window. Next night, the monster came back. It stretched out its claws, which had been pierced by glass. The girl had the courage to help the monster pull out the glass. It seemed that the monster took the girl as its mother. The monster took the girl's hand and asked her to touch her. The girl gave the monster a bath. At night, the girl had a nightmare. When she opened her eyes, the monster was standing over her. Cue her to look right. It was the neighbor's dog. The girl threw up, but then she turned her head and saw that the monster was throwing up too.
This man, known as the Devil, suddenly resurrected 70 years after his death. The streets of Berlin are bustling now. He thought Germany had won World War II, so he hurriedly asked passers-by for the location of the Führer's bunker. But tourists mistook him for an internet celebrity. They pulled out cameras to take selfies with him. Confused, he pushed through the crowd and approached a newsstand. The date on the newspaper was 2014. He fainted from shock. From the papers, he finally understood. After Germany's defeat, most of its territory was divided by the Allies. To Hitler, this was the ultimate humiliation. He swore to lead Germany back to greatness. Moreover, he quickly grasped the power of the internet, so he decided to host a live broadcast. When the spotlight hit him, he remained silent. 10 seconds passed. The host started to sweat and tried to cover for him. 20 seconds passed, and the producers wanted to cut the camera, but the director refused. After a full minute, the room went quiet. Finally, he spoke.